بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the blessing to have been able or to give us the ability to continue with these essentials of Islam, the lectures which concentrate on how we perform our ibadah, our deeds. We've done, these are the mostly concentrating on the pillars of Islam, and we've done the first one in agreeing that there's no one worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we've concentrated on salat and how to perform a wudu and what nullifies the salat. And then we've done the sawm, fasting, and now inshallah we'll concentrate on another pillar of Islam, and that is zakat. Zakat is one of the pillars of Islam. According to the book, is رابع وهي رابع أركان الإسلام, is the fourth pillar of Islam. فتجب على المسلم معرفة أنواع الأموال. He says it is very important that Muslims must know the type of possessions on which that zakat is compulsory. So it is very important to know the kind of things that you should be paying zakat and things that you should not be paying zakat. And these are the things that included in which one has to pay zakat. It says فيها وهي النعم is the livestocks, ni'am, that is known as ni'am, livestocks, which include the camels, sheep and goats. These are the three kinds with which one has to pay zakat on. And these ones, you either pay the animal itself or the worth amount for that particular animal. We'll explain inshallah later. And gold and silver, والنقدان, that is gold and silver. We will explain on that the amount. Once it reaches that amount, then you have to pay. والتجارة, and also trade goods. Tijara is, for example, if you have a shop and you're selling things and you're making profits, how do you pay the zakat on that? And also warrikazu, buried treasures. Rikaz, for example, you found things, treasures on a land. Wal-ma'dinu, and also gold and silver mines. How do you pay if you are digging from the mines and you're getting gold and you're getting silver? How do you pay that also? And al-mu'asharat. Wal-mu'asharat, these include dates, grapes, wheat, barley, and others. So these are the kind of things with which one will have to pay the zakat. And also he says فلا زكاة فيما سوى النعم السائمة. There's no zakat on animals other than livestock grazing or eating on the public land. So inshallah, let's just concentrate on this. So zakat is one of the most important pillars of Islam. A person, if he has wealth, or if he has animals, or he's digging from mines, or if he's got livestock, animals, or crops, different kinds, then Islam, the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered certain amount to be taken from those who are well off to be given to those who are less well off, to be taken from the rich and given to the poor ones, so that love increases between themselves, and also the poor ones are not left behind and left hungry. So therefore it is a must, and it is a punishable act if you do not pay zakat. In front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is said the amount of zakat that you've not paid will be brought together and will be made into, if for example, if you've not paid for gold, it will be brought together and be made into metals, and it will be used on the day of judgment in the hellfire to burn you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell you, these were the ones you are thinking that you're saving for yourself, leaving others to die of hunger while it is their right. So that little bit of money, it is their right, is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be given to the poor. So therefore that money does not belong to you. The sooner you get it given to those who deserve, the better. So if you have your shop, for example, inshallah, on the amounts and everything we'll explain a bit later. Zakat, for example, if it is money, 2.5%, and if it is gold, there's a certain amount. If it's animals, if it reaches certain numbers, inshallah, we'll explain later books which goes into details. And if it's crops, there's certain amounts. If it reaches that amount, then you have to pay the zakat. And also, to be paying zakat, there are conditions. You must meet those conditions for the zakat to be obligatory or to be a must for you to pay. He says, وَيُشْتَرَطُ الْحَوْلُ لَهَا. A precondition of the zakat becoming obligatory is the passing of one lunar year. For example, if you had money for it, for the zakat to be obligatory, that money has to be there for one full year. If, for example, if you had it in Ramadan until next Ramadan, for example, if you're doing business from Ramadan until next Ramadan, that is when you're eligible, you must be paying the zakat for that particular amount. And then he says, وَكَذَلِكَ يُشْتَرَطُ لِلنُّقُودِ. And also, the condition also, which is the condition for money and trade goods. Money and the goods with which you are trading. وَيُشْتَرَطُ فِي هَذِهِ الْأَنْوَاعِ النِّصَابُ. There's something that is called an-nisab. So there's two things that are required for the zakat to be obligatory. The first one is for the amount, one whole lunar year, to be going round. For example, if you had that amount, or you started your business in Ramadan, until next year Ramadan, that is when you will be required to be paying zakat. And also it must reach what is called in Islam an-nisab, certain amount. If it doesn't reach, if it's lower than that certain amount, you do not have to pay the zakat. وَوَاجِبُ النَّقْدَيْنِ وَالتِّجَارَةِ رُبْعُ الْعُشْرِ. He says the amount that has to be paid on money and trade goods is 2.5%. 2.5% you must pay to those who are less well off. And we said two conditions, inshallah, and nisab. We will explain what the nisab is. We've said the first precondition is a whole year has to pass, and then secondly, it has to reach certain amount which is known as an nisab. There's one there is nisab for gold, and there's nisab for the silvers, there's nisab for money, and the crops also. Inshallah, we'll be saying it on how many grams of these and how much money and everything, inshallah. And also, وواجب الحبوب والثمار التي سقيت بمؤونة نصف العشر. It says وواجب الحبوب, on crops. We've said money and trade goods is 2.5%. On crops and fruit grown by irrigation, means you've paid money for it to be grown. You've paid certain amount for that to grow. For example, for a person to be looking after it and cleaning it, and money and water and all this. You've paid all these things. It says nisful ushri. You've paid 5%. But if the land, he says وَبِغَيْرِ مَؤُونَةٍ الْعُشْرُ. He says if the land is not irrigated, it just happened on its own, it doesn't need money for you to look after it and take care of it, and water, and you're paying this, you're paying that. If it doesn't, you don't have to pay all these expenses, then it is 10%. So we have to go back on what we said is nisab. Nisab for the money is the market value of 84.7 grams of gold. 84.7 grams of gold or 592.9 grams of silver. The value of that, once it reaches, you will go and look at the value, because the value changes regularly. You will go and look at how much is the value of 84.7 grams of gold or 592 grams of silver. That is for money. That is the nisab, or the amount with which you are required. Once it reaches that amount, you are required to pay the zakat. As for crops, it is 609.84 kilograms of whatever the crops might be. And for livestock, we've said there are three kinds of animals with which you are required to pay zakat, because they're beneficial to others: camels, sheep, and goats. So for livestock, which would include these kind of animals, it is either 5 camels. Once you reach 5 camels, then you pay. Or 30 cows. If you reach 30 cows, you pay. Or 40 sheep or goats. If you reach this amount, and you pay the zakat on that. So inshallah, just to conclude of what we've said, zakat is one of the pillars of Islam. It is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought it to bring love between the ummah, to bring love between those who are less well off and those who are well off, those who are rich and those who are poor, to have connection, to have that brotherhood. A Muslim is a brother of his Muslim brother, to be looking after them and taking care of them. It is their right on us, on those who have. It is their right. They are not begging. They don't have to beg. If you do not pay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you on the day of judgment. So therefore, it is very important for your mal, for your money to be clean, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless it. You must make sure the right of others does not remain within your money. Every year there is certain amount. If you do not pay, that amount doesn't belong to you, and you are accountable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we said there are different things that you should be paying the zakat on. Is money, is either animals or livestock, gold or silver, or trade goods, or if they are mines and you're getting mines out of gold or silver. As soon with this one, you don't have to wait for a whole year. If you're digging, you'll get it out and you'll give it. And also you said crops, these kind of crops, al-hubub, al-thimar, we said, and we've explained that. And also we must remember 2 things are required. The first one, for money and also trade goods, a whole year has to go round lunar, Islamic lunar year. It has to go round for zakat to be obligatory, and also it must reach certain amount for you to be paying. And we've said if it is money or trade goods, it's 2.5%. If it's crops that you've paid money expenses to make sure for it to grow, you pay 5%. If you've not paid any expenses and it was growing on its own, therefore you pay 10%. And also we said, we've explained on what the nisab is. We've said nisab for money. If you had money and you want to know how much to pay, how much is the nisab, it must reach 84.7 grams of gold or 592.9 grams of silver. If it reaches that level or that amount, then you have to pay. And also we've said for crops is 609.84, and livestock is only 3 kinds of animal. Inshallah, zakat is very important, my brothers, to make sure that we remain clean and to make sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to bless us. We must pay that which is due for those who are less well off. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish us, and this will bring love between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although that we love dunya, we love money, and we love all these things, but when it comes to the right of people, that money doesn't belong to you. You have to pay to them. Otherwise you will face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the day you will leave this dunya empty-handed, but you will go there with all these things in your book of deed, and you will be accountable and you will pay for it. So inshallah we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam.